and today we're reviewing and talking about Richard Garfield's Carnival of Monsters. So now, Richard Garfield's Carnival of Monsters was published by Amigo Games, and it is for ages 12 and up and for 2 to 5 players. Now, they don't actually have a time listed on the box, which is a little odd. I couldn't find anything that said a time estimate, but I would say most games of this come in around under a half hour.
Yeah, I was just...
Especially once you played it once or twice. Well, you're just seeing if it says it somewhere else?
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Now, for the 2 to 5 players, we've played this game...
Well, there's a note on game pace at the back.
Yeah, but that doesn't really talk about the time.
Oh,
but I would
okay.
say it's mostly under half an hour. Especially once you played it once.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes very quick. I would say your second game of this is going to go lickety-split. Okay, so... the 2 to 5 players. We played this at 2 players and we played it at more players. I would say that this game, it has a single difference in the rules for 2 players, where you get this extra little deck of cards, and before you pass your cards on, you draw 1 card from them and then discard 1 card from your hand to make it less predictable, being that you're just literally otherwise you would just literally be handing the same group of cards back and forth. And it would be so easy to predict what you might get back. So it makes it a little less predictable and gives you a little more power over what your one opponent in a 2-player game would be able to do. But otherwise, I mean, it plays very playably at both at 2 players and at more than 2 players, at the 3 through 5. And it actually, in my opinion, does not take any longer at all for more players because all the actions are simultaneous. Would you agree to that?
Yes.
So it says it's for ages 12 and up. I think that might be a slight overestimate. I think I would go 10. What do you think?
I think 12 and up is a good estimate. I think there's a lot of the staff cards and some of the victory points at the end cards that I think might be a bit confusing for someone younger.
Okay, I could see that. I'm going to stick with my 10 estimate, though. So I'm going to say it's a little bit of an overestimate, but you're going to say it's right on the button. That's fair. So the next thing we've got, Lynn's already opened it for us here, so we can take a quick look at some of the components before we bring it to the table. So we've got a rule book here. Nice big rule book. I think pretty decent sized text. You've got a lot of room for it.
Looks like the normal size.
Yeah, it looks like normal size text. It doesn't look super small to me. You can comment down below and let me know if you have trouble with this size text in here. But there's lots of diagrams, which I really like. Diagrams for setup, diagrams for how everything works. I found this rule book to be excellent. The symbols were clear and the diagrams were very easy to understand. After reading this rulebook, I had no questions about how this game worked. So, yeah, no problems there. Now, the next thing we've got is the board. You had pointed out after our very first game of this that the board was really just a placeholder.
Yeah, it's unnecessary.
But it's nice.
Yeah.
It looks nice. It's a nice looking board, and it gives you a spot to put all your decks of cards and your dice and your coins. And then you have little personal player boards, which these are these are thinner. These are just like cardstock. Again, these are just placeholders for stuff, though. And just a reminder because they have marked on them on seasons 1 through 3, when you're drafting the cards, you pass them in one direction, whereas on seasons 2 and 4, you pass in the other direction. So this is mainly a reminder and a placeholder for your stuff. So it's fine for that. They are a bit thin, but it's not really anything to complain about because, like you say, it's really just a placeholder. I mean, they're not really all that necessary. So it feels like a little bit of they went above and beyond with those. Then we've got a bunch of cardboard punch-out chits, which if you've seen cardboard punch-out chits, you've kind of seen them all. These ones are monster cages. These ones are the coins, which the currency in this game are known as crowns, and they have them in lots of different denominations. Then we have some custom dice that have blank sides with 1 cage on them, and sides with 2 cages on them. These are some nice painted wooden dice. And I actually quite like these. I think these are Very nice quality. I happen to be a fan of wooden dice. Then we have the cards, and that's most of the actual usable components of the game are cards. You're going to be seeing a lot of the cards while we're showing them out, but I want to specifically say that the quality of these cards is quite good. They're all linen finish, and which I'm a big fan of, and they feel pretty thick and substantial. And on top of that, the artwork on these cards is absolutely gorgeous. Richard Garfield actually got together with a bunch of the artists that he used to work with in Magic the Gathering to do the artwork on this game, and that's really awesome. Yeah, there's some fantastic artwork for the monsters and the places and the people. It all looks great. And then something I know you're always a big fan of when they include is they had a score pad, which gives you a quick reminder of how all the things that give you points or take away points. So that's basically everything that comes in the box. And now we're going to take you over. We're going to run you through a couple seasons to show you how this game plays. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about how this game feels. And we're going to rate it and review it. Okay, so here we can see a 3-player game of Carnival of Monsters set up. So I'll be controlling player 1 over here as well as player 2 over here. And Lynn is over there with the 3rd player. So to set up a game of Carnival of Monsters, you have to go through a few easy steps. The first step is to place the board in the middle of the table. Now the board is basically a placeholder to put most of the stuff on. It's not actually like a game board for a board game. This is really more of a card game. Now the second step is to shuffle up the main deck. Now the main deck contains lands, monsters, events, and helpers for your carnival. And it is a large deck so that each game will be significantly different from all the others. The third step is to shuffle up the season cards and deal a random 4 seasons out there into the season stack, because you will need 1 different season card for each of the 4 seasons, and being that there are more than you need for the 4 seasons, it also keeps the game nice and varied. Next, you have to put out the loan and consolidated loan cards on the board. You have to put out all of the coins, the dice, and the traps. Everybody gets a player board, and then everybody gets 4 coins, and then you shuffle up the starting land cards, and everyone gets a random pair of starting land cards, each one of which is worth only 1 land of that type. So here, as you can see, I got the water land known as Shallows of the Depths, and the Portal to the Darklands, whereas the second player over here has an Enchanted Forest card, as well as a Entrance to the Caves. And Lynn, what did you get?
I have an Entrance to the Caves as well, and also a Pass to the Eyrie.
So now these will help us to play monsters from these lands. Now, we are completely set up, so we're going to start the first season. And the first phase of the first season is the reveal season card. So Lynn, what is our first season's season card?
The Depths season.
Oh.
Each player gains 2 crowns the first time they play a Depths monster. And then at the end of the season, the most Depths monster gets 3 victory points.
Now, is it the most Depths monster, or is it the most the most Depths monster victory points? So a more valuable Depths monster will be worth more towards that goal. This gives me a little bit of a leg up because I'm the only person with a Depths land out so far, which is nice. Also, so you know, when it's referring to the first time you play a Depths monster, you get 2 crowns. The crowns are the coins. So then we're going to deal out 8 cards to every player to start our season with the capture and play phase. Now during this phase, we're each going to draft 1 card from our initial 8. Afterwards, we're going to pass the cards in the direction denoted by the board based on what season is. 1 and 3 go to the left, whereas 2 and 4 go to the right. And it is noted right here on your player board, so you don't have to really remember it. And when you receive a stack of the 7 cards left over that were not drafted from the other player, you're just going to place it face down in your area here on your board. You're not going to look at them yet. The 1 card you draft is going to be placed here on the book. And then after we've all done that, we're going to decide whether we want to play this card or keep this card. So we're going to be right back after drafting a card from our starting hand. and passing the rest of the cards to the left for the first season. Okay, so we have all drafted one card and placed it here on our books, on our various play mats around the table, and then we have passed the other 7 cards to the left. So now we have to decide what to do with our one card. So I'm going to reveal that I have a Dreamlands. Now the Dreamlands are worth generally more than other low-level lands. They're worth 3, whereas most low-level lands from other types of areas are worth only 1. However, the reason for this is because Dreamland monsters can actually use any type of land to pay for them coming into play. However, Dreamlands themselves can only be used for Dreamland monsters, so they're a little bit more restrictive, but they do give you bonus in your land resource. The second player over here has also played a land. They've played a second Enchanted Forest, and they will put that directly into play. And Lynn, what have you played?
I have played a land too, a Depths.
Ah, very good. Now, early on, it is very common to play lands because most lands can come out for free. The only lands that cannot just automatically come out for free are ones that will have pictures underneath their land symbol that show that you have to, as a requirement, already have a certain number of lands of that type in play in your area. Now, still, you don't actually have to pay for them, so technically they are free. They just have requirements before you play them. Early on, it's good to play a lot of lands so that then you will have the lands to pay for the monsters, and we'll show you how that works when we pay for the monsters. So now we're going to do our second draft and go ahead and pass it now because this is, again, still the first season. Pass it on to the left again, and we'll be right back after our second draft. Okay, so we have done it again. We have drafted and passed to the left again. So I am revealing here that I have one of those more advanced land cards that I have drafted. This one is called the Depths Chasm. Now, the Depths Chasm, as you can see here, beneath its symbol for the depths, it has a single box with a depth symbol in it, meaning that I have to already have one land card from the depths to be able to play this, but when I play it, it's going to be worth 2 depths as opposed to 1. My Shallows of the Depths counts as my prerequisite for the 1, so I can just add it to my depths land area. Now, the second player over here has played a basic Airy card, so they're going to add that to their lands. And Lynn, what have you played?
Played another Depths.
Another basic depths land? Okay, and then we're going to draft again and come right back after the draft. Okay, so we're back. We have done another draft. I have drafted a basic cave, so again, I will just add it to my collection of lands. I'm building up my lands to help me better pay for new cards. The second player, though, is doing a little better than me because they managed to get a prerequisite 1 2-point Airy card. This is the Fiery Mountain, and they will add that to their Airy lands there. And Lynn, what did you collect?
I have an action card that just gives me 2 gold.
Ah, 2 crowns as it is. Which is very nice. Crowns will be very useful later on, and we'll explain why that is when we come to it. So now we're going to draft again, and we will be right back. All right, so again, we've done our draft. Now, we are up to a point where crowns are going to become important because this card I cannot play for free, and I cannot play right now, so I have to pay a crown to keep it. I put 1 crown back into the bank, and I'm going to place it over here on the keep area, which has a picture of a caravan on it, on my player board. The second player, on the other hand, has a very advanced forest card with a prerequisite of 2 forests, which they already have 2 forest cards, and it will have a value of 3 forests, and they're going to add that to their area. This one is called the Forefather of Life. And then, Lynn, what are you doing?
I have to pay to keep this.
So you're doing the same thing I was doing?
Yes.
Then. Okay, and then we're going to do another draft, and we will be right back. Okay, so we've done another draft, and I am going to reveal that I have finally chosen to bring a monster out into my Carnival of Monsters, and it is a ghoul. Now, the ghoul is a level 1 monster, meaning he requires 1 point of resource of the Darklands. I have 1 Darklands in play, so I'll place him above them to remind everyone that I have used that Darklands to pay for my ghoul. The second player will also be bringing out their first monster, though theirs is a bit more impressive, because they have a level 3 Griffin, and they have collected 3 value in Airy lands, and this one is worth a whole 11 points, whereas my ghoul was only worth 3. But it does have a danger symbol, and we'll get to that at the end of the round on why that's important. So they're going to place that above their Airy to show that they have used all 3 of their Airy land points to pay for their Griffin. Lynn, what did you do?
I have to hold on to it.
So you're paying 1 more crown in to hold on to it. We're going to do another draft, and we'll be right back. All right, so we're back after another draft. Now, I have taken something that I will need to hold on to for later. I will pay 1 crown to the bank, and I'm going to put it in my keep area. The second player over here has taken yet another sizable forest, one that gives them 2 forest resource, and they're going to place that on their growing stack of enchanted forest locations. And Lynn, are you keeping something else again? Mm-hmm. Okay, and then we'll be right back after our next draft. Okay, so we are back. We've just drafted again, and I have picked another thing that I will need to pay a crown to keep, so I'm going to be putting it in my keep area. The second player, though, has taken this level 2 enchanted forest monster here known as the Shrat, which is worth 6 points, and they definitely have plenty of forest points to spare, so they're going to use that to play them. And Lynn, are you keeping something as well?
Yep.
All right, now we have the final card which was given to us, and we have to really literally have no choice. We have to draft this one card and then decide what to do with it. So I will have to keep this one as well. I'm not able to play it, so I'm going to pay 1 and put it into my keep area. The second player over here has to play it. It is an event card, but it gives them money based on the number of staff they already have in play, and they have no staff, so they actually get no money from it. It's a little bit of a waste. And Lynn, what are you doing with yours?
It's the same. It's an event that I don't have anything for it.
Right. So we're going to move on to the end of the first season here. So the first thing we do is we have to, after we get through the keep area, we do a last minute check. Does anyone have the ability to play any of the cards they have kept? No. Because you can play them anytime during the turn before we get on to the next phase. I am not able to. The second player actually didn't keep any cards, and then you said you're not able to either. So then we move on to do the danger check. Now, dangerous animals can get loose and run amok, and if there are many staff who give you the ability to ignore danger. These cages can be discarded one at a time to ignore a point of danger. I did not collect any monsters with danger. Lynn did not collect any monsters, but the second player collected 1 monster with 1 danger. One of the players will also roll the Royal Hunter dice, and every cage that comes up on these will negate 1 danger for everyone. So I'm going to give it a quick roll, and we got none. We got no cages, which means that their 1 danger is not negated, and they will need to pay 3 coins as a fine, which they do have, which is good, to be able to negate that 1 danger that they were not able to negate through any of their cards or the use of the dice. Now, we will retire all of the monsters that we have collected face down into our menagerie. And then we will start the very next season. Now, during the end of the season, we would have given this award to anyone who had played the most value in depths monsters, but as you saw, no depths monsters got played. So we're going to flip over the new season card. What is the second season going to be?
Enchanted Forest season.
Oh, player number 2 is very happy about that one.
Each player gains 2 crowns the first time they play an Enchanted Forest monster, and then the most Enchanted Forest monster victory points in play get the card.
So now we're going to deal another 8 cards to everybody, and we're going to do a new draft. Okay, so now we did our draft, and because it is the second season, the draft was passed to the right, not the left. And we are going to now check what we can do. I am revealing that I got a very powerful depths card known as the Mercastle, which is worth 3 value in land points. And I'll play that for free because I already had 2 depths. The second player over here is playing a level 3 enchanted forest monster known as the Tree Walker. Now it requires you to have 3 points of enchanted forest resource, which they've got 7, so they've got plenty. They're only going to use 3 of their 7 towards that, and they have plenty more they can still spend. And as that is their first enchanted forest monster played this round, they will get 2 free crowns because that is what the season card dictates.
I'm going to play a basilisk.
Ooh, now what is that? That is a cave monster?
He's a cave monster.
And he only requires a 1, but he has a danger symbol, just like... So both of you have a danger symbol out to worry about for later. So now we're going to do our next draft, and we're going to be right back. Alright, so we did another draft. I am revealing that I have a level 2 Darklands here that requires me to already have 1 Darklands in play, which I do. So I'm going to add that and increase my Darkland resource quite a bit. The second player over here has an event that will give them 1 cage. At the end of a round, the 1 cage will allow them to discard it to ignore one danger rather than have to pay the 3 gold penalty, the 3 crown penalty in the future. And Lynn, what do you have?
I have an event that gives me 2 crowns.
Oh, very nice. And then we're going to do another draft, and we'll be right back. All right, so we did another draft here in the second season. I am revealing that I have a Succubus. Now, the Succubus is really cool. It is a level 4 Dreamlands monster, and it's worth 3 victory points, but it has this really awesome ability, and I'll show you what this does in a minute. It shows a 1 and that little down arrow symbol. So now it's going to cost me 3 lands, but again, Dreamland monsters can use any type of land to play them, including their own Dreamlands, which I have 1 of, which gives me 3. I'm going to add to that 3 the 1 I have of the caves to pay for it. I'm going to place her out, and then her ability allows me to draw a free card from the top of the deck. If I can play it, I will play it immediately. If not, I get to keep it without paying a crown, which I am going to keep it because I cannot play it. The second player over here, they have another, that's right, 1 more forest monster. Now, they already got their coins, but they have plenty more forest to pay for their forest monsters, and this one only costs 1 more forest to play, but is worth 5 victory points because it is dangerous. So they're going to add that to their carnival there. Lynn, what have you got going on?
I get 1 crate.
Ah, going to get yourself a trap. Very nice. Okay, so we're going to do our next draft, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we just did another draft, and I am playing an event card that says I can reveal any number of cards from my kept cards, but not my menagerie, and gain 1 crown for each one I reveal. I'm going to reveal that I have kept a Outer Realms Spider, a Great Fire Spider, a Nephilim, and a Lightning Ray for 4 total coins. The last card I will not reveal and just put back in the keep. I will then put them all back in the keep after everybody, if they want, gets a good look at them. But that will grant me 4 crowns, which will be very useful. Crowns are important for different things. The second player over here is going to reveal that they are hiring a 1 helper, this staff. 1 staff. Robin Goodall, Enchanted Forest Expert. They cost 3 crowns to play, and that is all of the crowns that they have. But while they are in play, they say every time you play an Enchanted Forest monster, you will gain 2 crowns, which is very good for them because they have lots of Enchanted Forests out. Lynn, what are you playing?
I'm playing an Enchanted Forest.
Excellent. We're going to do another draft, and we'll be right back. After the last draft, I'm going to reveal that I have played another Darklands to increase my Darklands resource, while the second player here has played an event that gives them another animal cage to help protect them against danger in the future. And Lynn, what have you got?
I'm playing Darklands.
Ah, very nice. So we'll be right back after our next draft. Okay, we're back after another draft, and I'm going to reveal I am playing a Shade. He is a level 2 monster, and I have 4 points of Darklands resource, but he's worth 6 victory points, which is very nice. The second player is revealing that they are getting yet another cage. They're stocking up on those because they like to play lots of dangerous monsters. And Lynn, what have you got going on?
I'm playing a Dryad.
Oh, your first, so you get your 2 crowns back.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, and now it's the second to last draft of this season. All right, so we've done our second to last draft of the round. I will reveal that I have a Shadow Cat, which again lets me draw a free card, and I've got plenty of Shadowlands to play for it. So I'm going to draw. I can play it right away. It is a Merfolk. I have plenty of depths here, so I'm going to play that right out. The second player over here is going to reveal that they have another Griffin, just like they played in the first season. They're going to throw that out. And then what have you got going on?
I'm getting another cage, crate, whatever it is.
Very, very good. And then we have the final draft of the season. I just wound up with another Caves, which I'm going to throw out there. The second player here wound up with 1 Depths, which they're just going to throw out on their lands. And Lynn, what did you have? Something you have to keep? Mm-hmm. So Lynn paid a coin to keep it. Now, last minute check. Can you play any of the cards that you have been keeping hidden?
Nope.
All right, so none of us can play any of the cards we've been keeping hidden. We can play them at any time if we have leftover lands, but in the future, some of these will be coming out for sure. Then we have to check for danger. Now, I have no dangerous monsters, so I don't have to worry. The second player over here, though, has 3 danger, Lynn, how much danger do you have on your side?
1.
Okay, so, and nobody still has any staff that negate danger. So we're going to roll the dice and see how much it negates. Oh, it negates 2, which is really, really good. So of the 3 danger that player 2 has, they negated 2 of them. They're going to discard one of their traps to negate the 3rd. And Lynn, yours is fine because that is thoroughly negated by the Royal Hunter dice. We then see who won the season card, which of course is going to be player 2 because they play tons of forest monsters. They're going to place that into their menagerie. We're going to retire all of our monsters to our menagerie, and we would start the 3rd season, just like we started the first 2. And this is how you play a game of Carnival of Monsters. You play through a full 4 seasons, after which you fill out they have a pad to keep track of your score. You fill out the score pad, and it runs you through all the things that give you points or could take points away. The big thing that takes points away are the loans. Now, we didn't get into these because nobody had to take a loan, but there are times where you will have to take a loan to pay for things. This might include staff. This might include your penalties for extra danger that you didn't have traps for. A single loan will give you 3 coins. You can never pay it off, but it'll be worth -5 points at the end of the game. You can trade 3 loans in for a consolidated loan at any time, and consolidated loans are worth -15 points. You get no additional money for getting those. So I'm going to show you a score pad from one of our games. You add up all the scores, subtract the negative points from any loans that you had to take, and as you can see on this score pad, Lynn had won this game with 109 points. This was actually our first 3-player game of Carnival of Monsters. That was the score pad from that. So now we're just going to head back, and we're going to talk about how this game plays and how it feels, and we're going to rate it and review it. Okay, welcome back. So that was how you play a game of Richard Garfield's Carnival of Monsters. So at its core, this is a drafting game. I mean, this is all about the drafting of the right cards that you're then going to use in concert with other cards to give you the most points. That's really what this is about.
It's also set collecting.
True. It is also a set collecting game. I agree. So, okay. Negatives. Do you have any negatives you want to talk about this game? Because while you're thinking, I'm just going to throw out there, I don't actually have anything I dislike about this game. I mean, it's rare not to have even a little thing to nitpick, but I don't even have a little thing to nitpick about this game at all. Nothing negative. I'd really have to stretch. Can you think of anything?
Well, the player boards are kind of small, and
okay.
if they want you to put all this stuff on it, it's a bit bunched, and a lot of the times you end up knocking stuff off, and I don't know.
Boy, you're stretching. there's not much negative to talk about this game. Okay, Lynn said the player boards are a bit crowded.
And the center board is definitely crowded with all the. I guess you.
It gets a little crowded with all the coins on it.
You don't have to put all the coins. We've never once used a 10 or a 20 piece coin.
No, it's never happened.
So we technically don't even need to put them on there, but.
Oh, but we like to. And you know what? And I think that's really stretching it for negatives because this. Okay.
I think it's just like they have all the spots for things, but and I think that this would be a good game to like upgrade it. Like
okay.
For the crates, have like a little crate to put them in so they're contained and not just sprawled, and have like an old-timey coin purse for like the coins in the middle,
Oh, I could see that. That'd be cool. So oh, wow. Yeah, actually, now that you just said that, I think I'm going to keep an eye out for an old-timey like leather coin purse to put all the coins in, because that would actually be really cool, because then you could just pop that open in the middle of the table, in the middle of the board.
It's just the random like cardboard pieces just sprawling everywhere and touching other things annoys me. I know that's me, but
okay, it's a pretty minor gripe.
Yes,
in the grand scheme of things, it's a pretty minor gripe. Okay, production. First off, the production is gorgeous. The artwork is beautiful. I love the artwork on these cards. They're absolutely fantastic. They got a lot of really great artists in here. The game design is also, and this is where, as much as I like the production, the game design is where this game shines. in my opinion. It's just phenomenal. Yeah, I'm going to be really positive about this. There's no hiding it. So here's the thing. One, no one ever feels like you're sitting around for any kind of serious amount of time not doing anything because everything's simultaneous. You all look at your cards, you pick a card, you pass them on. Everybody's like, you pass them on, good. What are we doing with this card? Well, I'm gonna keep it. Oh, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna, whatever you do. And then like, okay, let's do it again. And once you get into a rhythm with it, it moves really fast. The rules are very easy to teach. Once you play through like one draft, everybody gets it. Everybody's like, oh, okay, good. I know what to do, And it's very smooth. Very smooth. Nobody's ever, like I said, no one's ever sitting around without anything to do. And also, because of the way you keep a lot of your points hidden, because you kind of put them in your menagerie, and it would be up to people to literally memorize what everyone had earned. It's one of those games where everybody manages to have a good time all the way up until the end when you finally count up points and go, oh, boom, Lynn won, but nobody's upset that Lynn won because everybody just had a good time playing, and they're like, let's play again, and we have played this game multiple times in a row. What do you think on some of the mechanics?
Well, the one thing that I like is that you never get your victory points like taken away because some like they.
Well,
have...
there's for the. Well, you do get minus victory points for the loans.
You didn't let me finish.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was getting there.
Go ahead.
Because a lot of games where you're collecting things, if this is with the dangerous creatures.
Okay.
Because like I could see if like you put out a dangerous creature that you could pay for, but then you didn't have like the cages and like no cages were rolled, and then like it's like, oh, you lose that creature because you couldn't contain it. But in this one you just have to pay money,
right?
And
and if you go into negatives, you have to take a loan.
Yeah, you have to take a loan and you get negative victory points that way, but you never get like your actual cards taken away, which I could see other games like having that as the thing for not having cages,
So okay, one thing that I think is interesting is, so you get, the lands are resources in this, which if you know Richard Garfield and you know how he created Magic the Gathering, this might sound familiar to you, but it's not quite the same. It's with the exception of the Dreamlands monsters, nothing else is ever allowed to use multiple types of lands for bringing it into play. And it doesn't feel like exactly like the system in Magic the Gathering. It's a little different because it's either you get a land or you get a creature if you already have the lands to support it. And if you get a creature and you don't have the lands to support it, you got to pay coins, which are a separate resource, to hold it. So I do feel like there was some inspiration from the same area in his mind, as if I could read Richard Garfield's mind. But it feels like there might have been inspiration from the same place that he got inspiration from when making Magic the Gathering, but it's kind of done in a different way. It's in a different twist. And of course, since this is not a battle game, there's no battles in this whatsoever. The rest of the game is totally different. Because the rest of the game is, like you said, set collecting. And like I said, drafting. Which is all about it. So, you collect monsters. You collect workers that help you collect monsters or help you ignore danger symbols. You collect lands, which help you get monsters. And you collect hidden objective cards, which those are great. Because the hidden objective cards get you lots of extra points at the end, which when your hidden objective card comes up, we didn't talk much about this, but there were some that I was paying for. When they come up, you're not allowed to play them. You have to pay a coin and keep them. And at the end of the game, you'll reveal it, and it'll be something like, gain 2 points for every depths monster you have in your menagerie. And that's awesome. I mean, that's great. So then at the end, you're like, boom, I get a sudden bonus of a ton of points that nobody knew I had. And those can be pretty key to winning and losing, don't you think?
Yeah.
So anything else we missed talking about for Richard Garfield's Carnival of Monsters? What do you think? Any other mechanics we didn't address? Any other card types we didn't talk about?
I don't know.
Is about it? Okay. So do you want to rate this first or shall I?
You can rate it.
Okay. Well, I love this game. We've been playing this game a bunch. Different player counts, doesn't matter. It's great at every player count. I've been really enjoying it. I want to play it a lot more. I'm planning actually to bring it out next game night again because I've been liking it so much, even though I've already done the review. I think this is a fantastic game. This is definitely a keeper. I am giving Richard Garfield's Carnival of Monsters 9 out of 10 stars. Yeah, I mean, it's no secret that Richard Garfield is a fantastic game designer. He has made many wonderful games, and in my opinion, this is one of his best. This is a fantastic game. Incredibly fun, wonderful self-contained card game, drafting game, set collecting game. Wonderful theme, wonderful mechanics. I love it. It's great. So, yeah. Ooh. Very high on this one. Very much a fan.
What?
Well, I'm waiting on you now.
I'm gonna also give it a 9.
Oh, wow. You slow played that a little bit. you weren't acting very, very energetic. 9's really high, and we're both in agreement. So what do you think, what are some of your reasons?
Well, my reason is that I really like that it's just, there's hardly any player interaction.
Except taking a card before your opponent gets it.
Yeah, and then, I mean, you don't even, like, you can just put it on their thing. You don't even have to, like, physically hand it to them. So it's like you're playing, like, a solitaire game at the same time as other people happen to be playing a solitaire game.
And you are a big fan of games like that. You love Euro games where there's not a lot of interaction.
I don't want to talk to people. Like, just don't even look at me. Like...
Okay then. So you enjoy the play style of this quite a bit. You think it's right up okay. You have won the most games out of anyone who's in our house who's played this game in our house. Not who lives in our house, but you've won the most games of anyone who's played this game in our house so far. This one really seemed to click with you. Is it also just the play style and all the mechanics, or were just like really right up your alley?
I like collecting things, and I like ignoring other people, and that's...
And this game enables you to do both of those things?
Yes.
To collect things and to ignore other people?
Yes.
Now, what about the drafting? We haven't done many drafting games. Have you taken to the whole drafting style? Or are you much more about the set collecting?
I like the set collecting. The drafting in this isn't... Because you're not really... I like it much better in the 3-player game. Okay. Because the thing that always annoys me about drafting games is that, is that you have to, like, you take cards and then you have to, like, discard some cards. And because that doesn't happen in the 3-player
in 3 or more.
Yeah.
So in the... Because it is a play up to 5. So 3, 4, and 5 players, there is no discarding.
Yeah.
And you prefer it that way versus the 2-player game. Okay. So, all right. Well, I want to throw out there. Now, Lynn's won this game a bunch. I have yet to win this game. And I want to throw out there that my incredibly high score is while I have never won this game. Which, I mean, I always say, you really know you love a game if you can rate it super highly, even though you've never won it. Like, I don't care if I win or lose this game. I just enjoy playing it. I just have fun playing it. And I'm glad I don't care whether I win or lose because I've never won it. But yeah, it's great. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, big thumbs up. Richard Garfield hit it out of the park with this one. Definitely, like I said, I think this is actually up there as one of his very best designs. This game is fantastic. It's just fun. I mean, that's the bottom line. It's just fun. It's incredibly fun. No one we've played it with has not enjoyed it so far. Everybody's been really positive on this game. So that is Richard Garfield's Carnival of Monsters. This is a 2 thumbs way up review from us here at the Board Game Captain. We were big fans on it. By the way, we played it with channel regular Juliana, and she also told us that this is one of her best games of the year. She said she really liked it a lot too. So I can tell you that she was a big fan. Yeah, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns either on this video or on the game Carnival of Monsters, feel free to put them in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this review and tutorial and you'd like to see us do more like it, be sure to give this video a like, share it on all forms of social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube, and hit that little bell icon so you get alerts every time I upload a new video. And until next time, game on.